I'm Tyler.
And I'm Tristan.
And we're TNT Sports Podcast. Woo! Applause. They love us. They love us. Anyway, what's up, guys? It's another week in the NFL. We'll be doing some NFL and a little bit of college today. Make sure you watch it, like it,
Comment, subscribe.
Subscribe is the key word there.
Yep.
And,
well, likes too. Like. Subscribe, and pass it on to a friend.
Yeah. Pass it on to your baby mama's mama. Anyway, we got Tennessee 30-9 over the Jags. What's going on with the Jags? They started Cody Kessler instead of fucking Blake Bortles.
Hey, what I tell you last week, they're gonna take a quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, I think the Jags.
I told you they didn't have any ties to Bortles, man. He hasn't given them enough to hold on.
Yeah, Derrick Henry with 238 yards. I want to know who had Derrick
Fluke.
Henry on their fantasy football team.
Nobody, because everybody cut him, dude. He sucked.
4 touchdowns.
It was a fluke.
Crazy.
He had one lucky game. Lewis has ran that offense as the running back, and he's been nowhere in existence. So that game, man, he had like I think a 60-yard touchdown. He just had a couple good big runs. He's not getting volume, so you can't expect that every week, no matter what.
Right.
But
bet you a bunch of people still going to pick him up.
But everybody was too quick, man, on the whole Saxonville shit last year, man.
Yeah.
They were on that train with.
Well, it's just like the Vikings defense last year. The Vikings defense is nothing like it was last year.
Yeah, but they a lot of their people are actually getting like old. Jacksonville has no excuse. Most of their guys are young.
Barry Church.
Well, he's old.
Ramsey, or does Ramsey not play there?
No, Ramsey does.
Yeah.
Like they only really the only old people they have is Church and Calais Campbell. But other than that, everybody on their defense is fairly young.
No, I know they won, but we haven't talked about him. I think they need to give up on Marcus Mariota, dude. He was a mobile quarterback in college. He hasn't really done anything since he's been in. I mean,
he's just one of them mediocre quarterbacks.
Yeah, the Titans need wide receivers, because who the hell are the Titans wide receivers? Can you tell me who a Titan wide receiver is?
Oh, dude, Corey Davis would be great if they had a quarterback to throw to him.
And they haven't had much of a running game.
And, I mean, you can't, just because you don't know who the wide receivers are, I mean, that doesn't actually reflect on the wide receivers. That reflects back on the fact that the quarterback can't make passes.
But yeah, the Titans, I mean, Jags fell off from last year. I never thought they were for real last year. Like
I didn't either.
I was surprised.
I was just hoping they'd beat Brady because I didn't want Brady in another Super Bowl. That's all I was going for.
But yeah, next one, Giants kill the Redskins on 40-16. They benched Mark Sanchez, a.k.a. Butt Fumble, a.k.a. probably the worst quarterback to ever play in football besides Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I mean, if the Giants didn't win that game, man, then they're just terrible because, I mean...
Yeah, but they're on a 2-game winning streak. They're killing their draft stock. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They're so far out of it, they should just let themselves lose.
They should have lost last week.
But, I mean, that game was a little hard to lose because without it being noticeable, being down to like a 4th-string quarterback.
Yeah. Literally the guy that ended up taking over, I don't even remember his name, for Mark Sanchez, he literally got signed to the team that week and learned his teammates' names by Madden.
Yeah.
True story. Saquon Barkley beasting out 100.
That's a given, though.
Yeah.
That's a weekly given.
Now, Rookie of the Year. Do you think it's hands down Saquon's? Or do you think Baker Mayfield has a shot at that? I mean, I think it'd be kind of hard to not give it to Saquon. Because he's having a killer year just like, they didn't give it to Zeke.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, they didn't give it to Zeke.
Yeah,
so.
but also Dak and everybody else that year, there was quarterbacks that had way better years than his year has been. You see what I'm saying? Mayfield's year isn't near as stellar, and his stats aren't near as stellar as Dak's was his rookie year, and Deshaun Watson's was up until he got hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's not having. I don't think he's having a rookie of the year.
So you think it's hands down Saquon?
I think it's hands down Saquon, and if you want my honest opinion, if the Broncos wouldn't have drafted Royce Freeman and wasted like 4 games trying to make him a thing, Philip Lindsay would be in the talk.
Yeah, he would.
As an undrafted free agent, he would be in the talk.
In the win rookie of the year. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's hands down Barkley, but I could see Mayfield winning.
I don't think so, man. He came on too late. He didn't. I mean, because you got to look at most quarterbacks that win Rookie of the Year, man. It's like, I'm not saying they go like take their team on. Like they don't have to have a Dak year of his first year taking them 14 and whatever it was, 16 and 2 or 14 and 2 or whatever the fuck it was, and going to the playoffs and winning a playoff game. I mean, they don't have to be that good, but I'm just saying stats wise, if you take Dak's stats and put them next to Baker's stats up to this week from his rookie year, Dax blew him away. And I hate Dak Prescott. So I'm just saying.
Same Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I don't like him. But so that's just why I don't think Baker will get it. Because Baker's not having really your standard rookie of the year quarterback statistical season.
Right.
You see what I'm
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Next we have Saints winning a close one. Well, not really close. 28-14 against the Bucks.
Yeah,
Breeze
for some
only
reason,
threw for
man,
201 yards.
For some reason, man, they had a. I mean, the Bucks were the only. They beat them in week 1, and it seems like that's like one of Breeze's kryptonites is playing against them.
Yeah, well, you know they're a division rival, so playing.
Yeah, they could always
anyone
go
you got to see twice a year. Dolphins beat the Patriots. I don't know if you saw that play at the end there.
I actually didn't watch it.
Oh my God! So they threw it to Devontae. They threw it to someone, and then he lateraled it back. And then when he was about to get hit, he lateraled back to Devontae Parker, and he took it all the way.
Dang.
Beat him by 1. New England has not won the past 5 games at Miami.
No, that's
It's
another
division
one of them.
rival.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
like I said. And what did I say last week? Last week I said this. I'm going to quote myself right here. That in division rivalries, you never know who's going to win. And it always seems like the worst of the 2 teams is the one who comes out on top.
Yes.
In a division rivalry. I don't know why, but it seems like the one that you wouldn't expect to win ends up winning.
It's just a good thing that the Patriots don't ever have to see a division rival in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
Dolphins, Bills, and Jets suck.
Yeah.
Chiefs barely beat one.
And everybody
Barely
says
won
the
one.
Cowboys have a weak division.
The NFC East is probably one of the toughest divisions. Normally. Not this year, but normally. Chiefs beat the Ravens 27-24. Lucky ass throw by freaking Mahomes to get the touchdown. Like it was like that.
Yeah, but I mean,
play in the Super Bowl with Eli throws in it lands right in his fucking.
But I mean that when they got the ball when they got the ball first in overtime, it was a given. I mean, he marches the team down the field it's just when he started marching them down the field, man, you knew they were going to win that game because when he gets in his rhythm, it's over. Mahomes has been on fire this year, man.
I'm not a Mahomes believer. It just and you know another thing I noticed with this game in these past weeks is the Chiefs are a lot like Oklahoma. They got a high-powered offense, but they don't have a defense.
I'm not saying their team's great, man, but
Well, you're saying Patrick Mahomes is, but I don't think that they're. I think in the AFC it's a clear.
Well, their offense is great. Yeah. They got one of the best offense. I mean, Travis Kelce, one of the most prolific tight ends in the league right now. They got Tyreek Hill, who's he's kind of boom or bust, but because he's a speed receiver, that's the only bad thing about a speed receiver, not a reception receiver. But but he's a beast. And then, even look at what Mahomes has done to fucking Watkins' career.
Right.
He revamped him all the way up.
But I just feel like there's a lot of people at home sitting at home thinking that KC's going to contend with the Patriots for, the AFC Championship. And I don't think so. I think it's a walk.
I don't think they got it this year, but I think they got good things to come.
I think the Patriots are going to go again.
I don't know. We'll get to that. But yeah, like I said, they have good things to come, man. Plus their offense is young. Hill's young. Mahomes is only in his second year.
Yeah.
I mean,
they'll be a force to reckon with in the future.
The only thing the only thing that slowed them down this game, from it being their typical blowout that it's pretty much been almost every week this season, was losing Kareem Hunt.
Oh yeah, true. Well, I mean, Christian Thompson. Spencer Ware didn't do too bad. He had 75 rush yards.
Yeah, but it was actually Damian Williams who ended up having the better game as a running back. He had he only had like 15 yards rushing, but he had a touchdown, and he had like 57 receiving yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Receiving, so.
Then the Colts barely won one against their division rival Houston, who had won 9 straight up to this point, and the Colts.
Yeah, but don't the Colts kind of like own Houston?
Yes, and Houston owns Cincinnati. Yeah. Andrew Luck threw for like 399 yards in that dude. He's having.
No, he broke 400. I thought.
It was 399.
Oh, was it 399?
From the internet, right?
I thought he broke 400.
Yep, 399 yards,
Dang.
2 touchdowns.
One more yard.
One more yard. If you're in my fantasy football league, that's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're actually going to their next game. Him and I and some friends of ours are going to the Dallas Colts game.
Go Dallas.
Yeah, Cleveland boys. Yeah, I'll be rocking Dallas gear. I'm a Bengals fan, but I root for Dallas.
Hey, you remember when we were at the gym working out and the Cowboys beat the Colts?
Yeah.
We were at the gym.
Yeah.
We were playing
back when we worked out. We were young. Stupid. But the Colts are sitting right now 7-6, 7th, looking to try to get in.
Yeah, they're in wild card contention, aren't they?
Yeah, they're in wild card. They got the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Titans. And I don't know. I don't think they make it. I think they lose to the Cowboys. I think they lose to the Giants.
No.
You don't think they lose to the Giants?
I think the only, out of those 3 teams that you just said, really the only one that I could see them losing to is us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll lose.
I mean, the Titans have pulled some rabbits out of their ass.
The Patriots.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're just one of them teams, man. They either are way up here or they're way down here. So, I don't know. I give them. I'm gonna give them a 2-1 record for the next 3 weeks.
2-1.
Yeah.
So you're thinking they're beating the Giants and the Titans?
Yeah. We're finally, things are clicking for us. I mean, Dak Prescott. I think he's only had in his 3 seasons like 4 games over 300 yards or something stupid low, and he had like 450 yards this week.
Yeah.
Because we actually have a receiver now.
Yeah, Houston now they're obviously, they're probably going to win that division. They're at 9-4. Are they going to be a legitimate team in the playoffs or not?
I don't know, man. I mean,
this is Deshaun Watson's first healthy year. He's looking like he's going to be a force. He doesn't look as good as he did year 1, but he's still good. I mean, they're 9-4.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's kind of like what I was like almost exactly what I was about to say. Like, it's like they're winning games, but they don't look pretty.
They need a run game. Lamar Miller had 2 games back to back with 100 yards, and then this week he went back to being the same old him.
Well, I mean, yeah, but. I mean, it's Lamar Miller, but I mean, his season has been way better than the last few.
Yeah.
So I mean, I give him credit, but I don't know, man. Like I said, they just don't look like the. I don't know.
Not this year, but I think it's coming.
I mean, even though they're about to win their division and stuff, it's just I don't know. They're not like the talk of the town because they haven't. They're not like it's not like pretty wins. You know what I mean? They're not like
they kind of snuck up there. Didn't
they're one of them just kind of sliding by teams.
Yeah. And then we got Green Bay bouncing back. After firing the coach, beating Atlanta, who's apparently they're just What happened to Atlanta? What happened to the Super Bowl?
It's like I said, man, last week. It's just...
They got Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, although he got hurt this year, but really, you don't got a run game, and now you can't
Tevin
pass?
Coleman.
Tevin Coleman hasn't done great enough to get himself a job, but he's done okay.
Hey, man, you've been so hard against Kansas City, saying how they don't have a defense and
Atlanta's defense is terrible.
And that you're not a believer in them because they're one of them high-powered offenses with no defense. But now you're saying like, oh, what happened to Atlanta? Where are they at?
Yeah, well,
they ain't got a defense, man.
Yeah, most of their defense is hurt this year.
Yeah, but that's where they're at.
Yeah, that's where they're at. That's where they're at. I just answered your question.
That's where they're at.
That's where they're at. Rodgers only threw for 196 yards in this. Man, he's like, it was a win, but I mean, where are these numbers at?
Dude, he's overhyped. He is. It's just. I don't know, man. I can't stand how far everybody blows smoke up Rodgers' ass, saying he's like the best thing in the world, man. But every year there's always some excuse as to why he wasn't the best that year, but he never has that year. Just like I said last week, he's either hurt or they always have some excuse for why it wasn't his year. Is it ever going to actually be his year?
Right.
Again, I mean, come on, man.
Then we have the Browns 26 over the Panthers, who was their 5th straight, and continue to prove me right that Cam Newton's garbage.
Yep. But Christian McCaffrey is a beast.
He did not get 100 yards on that game. That's like the first game in a while.
Yeah, but he still has like 5 touchdowns and 90 receiving yards.
And this puts the Panthers...
That was an exaggeration, by the way, but it's not very far off. Because he killed me this week in fantasy. Anyways.
Panthers are still in playoff contention. The Vikings are 6-7, Eagles are 6-7, which I think the Eagles are not going to get in.
No.
And then the Panthers have to play the Saints twice in the next 3 weeks. Yeah. And the Falcons.
They're screwed.
So they're done, right? Yeah.
No, I mean, they could beat the Falcons because worse teams have beat the Falcons. But the Saints, man, I'm a big Saints fan aside from being a Cowboys fan. So I almost don't know. Sometimes I find myself rooting for the Saints more than I root for the Cowboys.
I didn't write anything down for Baker, but Baker looked good in this game.
Yeah, he did.
I got to watch this game, and he just loved Baker. Man.
And Jarvis Landry finally vamped back up and stepped back up. He had a big game. He even had like a 60-yard rushing TD.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, Browns are looking like they're a piece away. And
but like I said, man, it's also just they got to build chemistry. I mean,
yeah.
It's all their first year together. I mean, they didn't have Mayfield before. They didn't have Landry before. I mean, they finally got good players. They just had to learn to work together.
I'd love to be the person who gets that head coach job because I think they're going to the playoffs next year. I think they're going to win the AFC North next year.
Especially if the Bengals don't fire Dalton and Lewis.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. But, I didn't even write anything for this because it is of no importance whatsoever. But, hey, everyone, the Jets beat the Bills.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. Go Jets. And this one I could really give two shits less about either.
Hey, but with the Bills though, actually, there is one thing I wanna kind of talk about. They just cut Andre Holmes and Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah, they're going to rebuild.
They're two veteran receivers, but the funny thing is that Josh Allen That's his name, right?
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Okay, Josh Allen has looked. I mean, he doesn't look terrible for having a terrible team, but he hasn't looked, good.
Yeah.
But this game though, these young receivers kind of showed out. Like maybe the veteran receivers were the bad thing the whole time,
Yeah.
Because I mean, they may have ended up losing to the Jets, but I mean, I think he had like. One play they had like a 60-yard passing TD, then they had like a 30-yard passing TD.
They were playing the Jets though.
I mean, yeah, but these young guys who weren't getting any time before are putting up. I mean, and they played the Jets already this year once, and they didn't. I think they scored like one touchdown. The rest of the game was field goals. They couldn't even get down the field.
Can we both agree that Shady's done?
Oh yeah, well,
I think we all knew it coming in this year. He had a great year last year, and it's like he's getting old. I think he's almost.
Dude, the last like 3 years, I wouldn't have taken him in fantasy football
because he did pretty good the last 3 years.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's just with his age, it was bound to happen eventually. That was my problem with him. It was just you didn't know which year was going to be the last.
You knew it was coming to an end.
And when it gets to this point in their career, that's when you stop chancing it because you start getting nervous. Like. Unless you can get them late or something, but this ain't about fantasy. This is...
Yeah. 49ers beat the Broncos 20-14. Case Keenum's just not the guy. Broncos, you fell again at a quarterback. You had so many. You're turning into the Browns.
You can't say that. It's just like I just said, man, with the Browns. They have good players and stuff, and they just got Keenum. He has to get adjusted to his team.
They got a defense.
And not to mention that in the middle of the season, they get rid of Thomas on him. They're going into rebuilding mode. So you think they're really worried about him winning games?
No.
And he's young, and they were ready to trade Sanders and Thomas away at the same time. So, I mean, you can't really blame it on him. They're getting rid of his talent right out from under him in the middle of the season.
Right. Chargers beat the Bengals. That's no surprise. Although it wasn't a pretty win. It was 26-21.
Yeah,
Driscoll's not the guy.
I really thought it was going to be better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, worse than that, I guess, for the Bengals. But I don't know. I wouldn't say Driscoll's not.
Well,
the
it doesn't
guy.
help. He doesn't have AJ Green now.
Yeah,
so.
he hasn't had AJ Green a couple games.
Yeah.
And then. I mean, Boyd's been good this year, but when AJ Green's not on the field, he just isn't that guy that's gonna blow up and be able to make the catches that Green makes. I would think Driscoll would be all right, but plus it was his first time starting.
Yeah, it was his first start. Lions beat the Cardinals. I think that's expected.
I mean, if they wouldn't, I think it would have been more surprising if they would have lost.
Rosen needs it's another young team. He's got that Kirk guy, but I think they need a wide receiver there because Larry Fitzgerald's ancient.
Well, because I mean, Fitzgerald's not going to be there much longer, and if he is, he's going to start digressing big time.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kirk, he got hurt, but he's been really good, and he's actually Rosen's favorite target.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald isn't, surprisingly.
Well, Fitzgerald's always a second target guy.
But
he's a 50-50 ball guy.
Yeah, but Kirk's been his favorite target. He's had some really good games, but they don't have a line. Johnson was never able to get in rhythm because they haven't had a line, so they haven't really had a run game. They don't have a defense because they let all their defenders go last year because they went from having a really good defense.
Bruce Arians left too.
Yeah. They're kind of in rebuilding mode too, so give them a couple of years, they'll bounce back.
The Cowboys beat the Eagles, which I know you're happy about, and I'm happy about as well. 29-23.
Well, we spanked our division's ass this year.
Yeah. Prescott 455 fucking yards.
Yep, I talked about that a little bit earlier.
And they still only scored 29 points.
That's what I said, man. I saw this stat. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. And sorry, I read it wrong when I read it to you. It wasn't as bad as I made it sound at first. But we had the ball on offense for 93 plays. The Eagles only had it for 49 plays.
Almost double. Well, that is double. No, almost double.
No, that's more than doubled.
45 and 45 is... Yeah, that is more than double.
And we still had to go into overtime just to beat them. We have no red zone offense. We'll have the ball forever and have these really great drives, but they end in a field goal almost every time.
Yeah. Amari Cooper 217.
Yeah, I was going to say, except for Amari Cooper catching a deflected ball and running it in for a touchdown.
And Dak, we were talking about it earlier today, but Dak had a lot of, 455 yards, but he missed a couple good ones to Gallup.
Yeah, man. He's not a passing quarterback. He's not a pocket passer. I mean, he had those... It's literally what is saving Dak's... I think what's saving Dak's job as of this year is Cooper.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have made that Cooper trade, Dak would look just like he has all season long. Cooper is just making him look better, which is exactly why I want to go ahead and look at you guys now and say, are we still stupid for giving up a first-round pick for Cooper? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because he's literally like making our team now.
Yeah, I mean, I still think first-round pick is
dude, without
overkill.
him, Zeke wasn't even hardly having good games.
Right.
With him on the field, the defense is actually respecting a receiver because he gets first number one receiver respect, which opens up the game for Zeke to run the ball.
Yeah, and the other wide receivers.
And the other wide receivers that aren't number one receivers. I mean, Hearns and Gallup are both good enough to be number two. But neither one were good enough to be number one, which is why neither one of them could pull anything off with Cooper not on the field. So now that we actually have a number one worthy receiver, it's opened up everything for us, which has made us have higher scoring games than we've had all season. Longer drives, actually driving down the field. Better games for Dak's stats, better games for Zeke's stats. I mean, all around, it's that one player has changed our entire offensive play.
Yeah. But like we said, we'll be at that Cowboys-Colts game. I'll make sure, check us out on Twitter. We're at TNT Sports 7.
Yep, we got a Twitter account. We sold out.
We sold out. But we'll be posting
We both
pictures.
hate Twitter, but we're on there.
We'll be posting pictures from the game if you guys want to know. And I got some behind-the-scene photos I took today if you guys are interested. If you love us that much to actually care and check that out. Oakland beats the Steelers, who are progressively falling down. 2 losses back-to-back, and they're going to Foxborough.
I think you said it last week. When are they going to give up on Big Ben and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Yeah, no, I agree now. I didn't at first because Big Ben's always had... I mean, he always has the statistical years. But like I said last week, stats don't win you Super Bowls.
Yeah, they play the Patriots this week, the Saints the next week after that.
Oh, yeah.
The Bengals.
I mean, they're not getting into the playoffs.
So
but,
the Ravens are going to take that division.
Yeah, I do.
That'd be a wasted playoff spot.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. Just like when Washington was the talk of the town for the NFC East, if they would have went to the playoffs without Smith, they would have been a wasted playoff spot.
I mean, I think of those next 3 games, maybe they get 2 of the 3, but it's probably going to be 1.
Who do they play?
The Saints, the Patriots this week, and then the Bengals the last week of the season.
That's the Steelers.
Yeah.
And you think they get 2?
Maybe.
No, the Saints and Patriots are both going to kick their ass.
Well, see, I'm not a full-on Saints believer.
Oh my gosh, Tyler, shut up.
I'm not a full-hearted believer in the Saints.
You don't have to be a full-hearted believer in the Saints. You just got to be a full-hearted believer in Drew Brees.
I believe.
How can you to that?
I believe in Drew Brees, but I don't believe in the Saints defense, which they're going to need to have.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about them going to the Super Bowl, but they always go to the playoffs because they always go to the playoffs because of because of Drew Brees alone. Hell, name 2 players the year that Drew Brees won the Super Bowl, other than Drew Brees.
Other than Drew Brees, Reggie Bush, Mark Ingram.
Ingram doesn't count because he was a backup who didn't even play.
Colston, wide receiver.
There you go.
Jimmy Graham was on that team.
Yeah, Graham was. But still, not near the talent that they have now.
No. Definitely not near the talent. They didn't have a 1-2 bunch like Ingram and Kamara, who...
And then Thomas and Ginn and... which I can't believe he never ended up becoming anything for them once he got back from his injury. But Cameron Meredith? I really thought he was going to be something.
So did fantasy football.
Because he was the number one for the Bears when they had nobody, when Jeffrey first left and stuff, and he had a great first year, but then he's been hurt ever since.
Right.
And then he came over there and he didn't do nothing. And then Bryant, with that great first practice.
Yeah.
Des Bryant with one practice and one torn Achilles.
That is the worst luck ever asked for.
All that talk all season long, dude. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. That'd be like Bell with this holdout and then come in and tear an ACL or something right after he comes back.
You think the Steelers are missing Bell right about now?
Dude, it's not. What's his name will be back? Connor will be back.
He's just not as. He's not as
Dude, look at his stats.
much a big a threat as a receiver that Le'Veon.
Are you kidding me? You're crazy, man.
Give me some stats next time.
He's been fine. He's not putting up like 100 yards in both categories in a game.
That's what Le'Veon
you can't expect
does.
that from any running back.
I know,
Dude,
but you want that running back that could do that.
That he had the games that he's had, and then this random Samuels guy comes in and has a good game this week. Dude, they're all a product of the system.
Yeah.
The Steelers make good running backs. I'm not saying Le'Veon Bell's not good.
Yeah, I'm just saying if they had Le'Veon Bell, that would take attention off both Antonio Brown and who's the other one? He's doing really good. Not Calvin Ridley.
Juju?
Yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster. You got two great wide receivers. If you had that great receiving back too, one of those three are about to
Not necessarily, man, because, Juju started off hot, man, but he has sucked the last few weeks. And that's even with...
AB.
Well, yeah, but AB, but Connor on the field. When Connor was on the field, Juju's kind of sucked. He had, his first, 3 or 4 weeks, he was blowing up, having better games than Brown.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just, whoop, right down the slope. And honestly, Brown hasn't even been the greatest this year.
No, well, it's the Madden cover curse.
And, yeah, that's true. But, I don't know, man. I think Connor's all right. Especially there, because it seems like they can make any running back good. And then you got to also factor in when Bell was hurt, and they brought a washed-up D'Angelo Williams in, and he all of a sudden was the shit.
True that.
Dude, it's a product of the system there.
You are not wrong there.
You don't have to be the greatest running back ever to succeed at the Steelers.
Yeah. And then we got the Bears beating the Rams. Everyone's screaming, "Oh, the Rams are exposed. Oh, the Rams suck." Now everyone is jumping off the Rams.
I said it last week that Trubisky would be back and they would be on.
Oh my God, dude. On the Bears train. I'm still on the Rams train.
Dude, you can't win defense, man.
You can't
yes, the Rams have a defense, but the Bears have the best defense.
The Bears do have good defense. They played good. They held one of the highest performing offenses, the 6 points. But I think it's a hiccup for the Rams. I don't think it's a thing.
Dude, you were all for the Rams last year. That sucked when they hit the playoffs. That
play calling was terrible. You should have gotten Gurley. You had the best running back in the league. Now that Bell's not playing. And Todd Gurley, and they barely used him.
You can't say the play calling, man, because I remember looking at my Dynasty League, and at one point, Gurley had, I think it was 13 rushes for 11 yards.
I didn't write down how many actual attempts that he did.
13 rushes for 11 yards. That's not even 1 yard per carry.
I just don't think they used
him. He
him.
was getting shut down. That's why they stopped using him. If your running back's getting shut down, you got to change the game plan.
Yes.
You can't keep running the ball if he's averaging 0.2 yards per carry.
You have Todd Gurley though, and it's a touchdown game, and that wasn't until late. It was 6-9.
It's not. Hey man, we're not talking about them. We're not talking about this Seahawks not using beast mode to win the Super Bowl.
That's exactly what this is, except it's not the Super Bowl.
We're talking about just a regular season game, man. But the Bears, man, I'm not saying they're winning the Super Bowl or nothing.
If the Bears,
they're good, dude.
The
They're
Bears
good.
and the Rams could probably have to play each other in the
Trubisky
playoffs.
has showed out, and I'm saying Trubisky has showed out because none of their receivers, dude, have been like a steady 100-yard receiver every week. It's not like he has a receiver that he goes to all the time that's just blowing it up. He's just making do with whoever the hell's out there.
If the Bears play the Rams in the playoffs, which they're probably going to have to do, who do you think wins that game?
You know, it's hard for me. It's a hard call for me because if you would have asked me who I thought was going to win out of the Bears and the Rams last week,
You said the Rams,
I would have said the Rams.
but now you're thinking the Bears.
And no, it's not just because of that win. It's because of how bad the Rams played once they made it to the playoffs last year. They had that great season, like they have in this year, and then they got to the playoffs, and they're like Tony Romo in the playoffs. And you can't say they didn't.
Well, we're going to see it. More than likely.
I mean, you
we're
can't
gonna
say they
see it.
didn't suck last year in the playoffs.
So we will see who.
You thought that they were going like all the way.
I'm a Jared Goff believer.
And I'm
Which
not
he
saying
had he had a few bad passes in that game too.
And I'm not saying I'm not. I mean, like I said, I would choose them in a regular season game any day. But based off of last year's playoffs, I don't know if they're going to go in there and choke again this year. That's what I'm saying. Because they choked hard last year in the playoffs.
Seattle beats the Vikings 21-7. Do you want to go ahead and parade about how you were right that Kirk Cousins sucks?
Kirk Cousins sucks, man.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, it's his first year with the Vikings. I mean, you gotta give a player time to adjust to their team, build some chemistry. But I mean, honestly, Kirk doesn't even hardly have that excuse, considering that what was it, 8 games in a row that Adam Thielen had over 100 yards and a touchdown?
It was 9.
9 games in a row that Adam Thielen had over 100 yards and a touchdown, and you can't say that he hasn't built chemistry with his players.
He threw for 201 yards and like 90 of those were to Adam Thielen.
It's just like I said, man. He can get stats, but he can't win games.
4-24 against teams with a winning record. 0-5 this
4-24. He's only won 4 games against teams with a winning
year.
record.
I think I got hyped into the "you like that" win, which was probably one of those 4. And I don't know. I mean, I still think he has potential. He's not as great as I thought he was, but he's not bad. He doesn't have much of an offensive line. And they haven't had as much of a running game this year like they did last year when Case Keenum was. If they had more of a running game like they did last year, I think it's a different story. But they just fired their offensive coordinator, so we'll see what happens with that.
I'm just not a Cousins believer. I was early in his Washington time when he first took over for RG3 and stuff, and he was coming out there slinging, but after last season and now this season, where he has all the talent that he didn't have last season, I'm losing hope in him.
The Seahawks, by the way, are quietly 8-5.
They're
and on a roll.
they're like the Texans, man. That's like how I said. They're just
Except they went to 2 Super Bowls.
yeah, but I mean, it's just. They're one of those teams, man. They're not the talk of the town. You're not going to hear them being talked about in the Super Bowl picture and stuff. But they always sneak their way into the playoffs. They always sneak their way up there. They're the ugliest wins, but they get wins.
If you're the Saints, do you want to have to play Seattle in the playoffs?
Well, considering that they don't have anywhere near the Legion of Boom on defense anymore, I wouldn't. I think that's a nice setup for the Saints
You think it's a nice
to
setup?
actually win a game.
I think if
to
I'm
win
the
a playoff
Saints,
game.
I don't want to play it.
I just if I were them, if I were the Saints, I wouldn't want to play the Rams early on, and I wouldn't
In
want
the
to.
divisional round because the
Yeah.
Saints are probably going to get Saints and Rams are probably going to get the first round bye. So if we see them, it'll be in the conference championship.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I would if I were them, I wouldn't mind playing Seattle because I think they could beat Seattle.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but I'm just saying if I'm the Saints, that's not a preferable matchup. I want someone like the Vikings because you can blow past them and the offense has been struggling. They're hiring a new offensive coordinator this late in the season when it's almost playoff time.
That's true. But I mean, the Vikings are the ones that ended them last year with that lucky last minute
Yeah, that's
Hail
another
Mary.
thing you get to avenge. You get to avenge that loss from last year.
Yeah. Which, I mean, had nothing to do with the offense or anything. That was the defense blowing. Which, I mean, even that, their defense was on fire that year. That was just accidental play where their dude ran into each other, and then the guy was wide open. Stephon Diggs was wide open because their two defenders ran into each other. It was all luck, dude. Literally,
Yes.
if they would have been one step off and didn't run into each other, that play wouldn't have happened. I mean, it just all fell into place.
That was the
for them.
craziest. But
Yeah.
I watched that game and I was like,
I was here watching
Yeah,
it with
yeah.
you.
we were just like, what the fuck? And you were like, oh, Drew Brees didn't do it.
I was pissed.
You were pissed. Let's transition into college and let's talk about the Heisman Trophy. Yeah, that's all I really want to talk about this time. We'll cover
Haskins was robbed.
Haskins was robbed, and I know I'm going to piss off my fellow Michigan fans because I guess I'm a Michigan fan. I'm a diehard Michigan fan, but I'm still a realist, and I'll give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we have a sports podcast, people. We have to be as unbiased can get. We have to give all credit around. We have to talk about everybody's stats. We have to talk about everybody's gameplay. So you can't blame us for talking about teams that aren't our teams.
Haskins deserves a Heisman. And here, I wrote this down. I took time to look at this and really just dive into the stats because when you're talking Heisman, it's not the MVP, although I think Haskins would win the MVP if college did one, hands down. But who's the better quarterback? And how do you tell who the quarterback is? Stats.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, Tua, who everyone considered an easy second place, isn't even worth mentioning stats-wise. One, he never played in the fourth quarter. Not at all. And I'm sorry, if you're not having to play in the fourth quarter and showing what you're about or to where the game's that close and, winning it, I don't think you're in that worthiness conversation.
Yeah.
Just his stats are significantly lower. I'm not even going to list them off. But they're a good 100 to 600 yards less throwing. The only thing that he has more than Kyler and Haskins is a touchdown.
Go ahead and list them off. List them off for the people.
Let's just break it down to Kyler and Haskins because that's the truth. Kyler, that Oklahoma had the 16th strength of schedule, 70.9 pass percentage. 4,000 yards this year, 40 touchdowns, and the only defense that he played that was in the top 50 was a TCU, which, by the way, Ohio State also rolled over them, too. Now let's go to Haskins. These are real stats. I looked this up. And
We do our research, people.
This is fucking bizarre that Kyler won. Ohio State had the 11th hardest strength of schedule this year. Haskins 70.2 pass percentage, which is only 7% less, 0.7% less than Kyler's. 4,580 yards, which is a good 500 plus more yards than Kyler. 47 touchdown passes, which is 7 more touchdown passes than Kyler. And then he played 3 teams in the top 50 for total ranked defense. 1 being Penn State, 2 being Michigan State, and then 3 being the number 1 defense in the country, my Michigan Wolverines, which he blew out the water. How the fuck did Kyler get that? You'll have to bleep me out there, but how did he get that Heisman over? I mean, Haskins, he played a harder schedule. He threw for almost 1,000, not almost 1,000, but he threw for
like 600 more yards almost.
Yeah, 600 more yards than him, threw 7 more touchdown passes. Like, how does Kyler end up with this? Like, what was were they not looking at stats? I mean, who did, the only people that Oklahoma played this year was when it came to them, a 3-loss West Virginia team, and Texas, which they lost to them. I mean, they avenged it, but I don't understand how Kyler got it.
Well, the good news here, though, is at least if he doesn't go back to Ohio State and
needs to commit,
and he
to fucking
and he
college.
commits to going into the NFL, then at least he doesn't go in with the Heisman curse.
Yeah, true.
That's one thing Haskins has on his side.
Vince Young, Reggie Bush.
Yeah, dude.
Mark Sanchez.
Oh no. Who else was there? There was more, but yeah, there's been a lot.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
The last thing that we'll talk about today, I think I sent you a thing, but we talked about this last week too. I don't have this written down. Jim Harbaugh is staying with Michigan. Yeah. He ended that shit quick, man.
Which you were surprised on it, but I wasn't, which is funny because you're the Michigan fan and I'm not.
Well, I mean, people on ESPN agree with me too.
But I mean, I understand.
There's
I understand
a lot of
your
risk in him
points.
staying.
Yeah, I understand your points. I mean, when you, like you said last week, because I mean, just like if he goes and he beats Ohio State this year, it's just like, oh, okay, you did it without Urban, you did it with this new coach, and you know, especially like depending on how their season goes, like if they suck all year long, like Ohio State just comes out and blows this year without Urban. And then you guys beat them. It's just like, oh, well, you couldn't do it with Urban. Like, I know, I get your points, the points you made last week. But at the same time, I just don't know. I didn't see him leaving. I feel like that's where he's gonna play out his time.
Well,
play out his career.
And I'm ecstatic because that's what I'm thinking. And Harbaugh is a great coach. He's came in here, had 3 out of 4 double-digit win seasons, which is the only person ever do that's Fielding Yost, and that's like 1900s. But I'm excited. I was ecstatic when I saw the news. Now it's not people saying it's not fully official because you never know what the Browns are going to give him the John Gruden deal. Mm-hmm. Like we might take that, but he's saying he's making a statement here. I'm not leaving. I'm the coach of Michigan. And I'm staying here, and I was happy, and I hope I gained you back there, Michigan fans, because I know you were dying about that Haskins talk.
Okay, now we want to bring something new into this episode that we haven't done yet.
Yes.
And we're going to start with our new little segment called Trash or Pass.
Trash or Pass. This LeBron, this is a little basketball, which we'll get to basketball more in these episodes once, football's over, and then we got basketball, but LeBron's son is in 8th grade, beast. He scored 30 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds in his first game at his school. His name's Bronny, but his name's LeBron Jr., but they call him Bronny. And LeBron says he wants to play 5 to 6 more years so that he can play on the same court as his son, either with him or against him. And he's 35, so that puts him playing at 40, 41. And I know he won't be on the same level, but do you see him making it that far? Would you trash that, or would you pass on that?
If
he's pass or trash?
If the GOAT is willing,
the GOAT. I like your words.
if the GOAT is willing to play when he sucks, I pass it. If the GOAT wants to go out on top and being, in all the GOAT talk and how he's winning, how he's always winning, and how
Well, it's going to be hard to get on top when you're playing with the Golden State All-Stars.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I mean, he may not win every championship, but I mean, he's always up there. Let's be real. So,
it's looking rough this year, though.
But, yeah, we'll get to that. Mm-hmm. But, anyways, like I said, I pass it if he's okay with playing when he's bad. I trash it if he wants to go out on top. So, but the fact that he said that he wants to play with his son, I'm going to go ahead and pass it because I think he wants to do it. That's something that...
I'm going to pass it too, whether it's injury bidding, he tears like an ACL, MCL, it's going to be hard to come back from.
Yeah.
Patriots win 2 more Super Bowls in the Belichick-Brady era. Pass that or trash it?
Trash it.
Trash it? What?
Brady's statistically declined tremendously this year. And he's just, it's only going to get worse, man. He's 40.
I pass it. I think they're winning it this year. And Brady says he's not going to quit till he sucks, and no one's learning that you're going to have to build a good defense with a high-powered offense to beat him. And there's, KC's good, but they got to get
he doesn't even have that good of a defense.
Their defense isn't bad. I mean, it was, when he played...
Their defense isn't bad, but they lost to Tennessee.
Yeah, well, that's that's another division. Oh.
Yeah. Come on.
Play their best game against the Patriots. But.
It's just, dude, I don't see it. Nope. Trash it.
We already.
Not will they make the playoffs and stuff? I mean, probably. Will they win the division? Probably, because they have a weak ass division too. But I just don't think that they're gonna win that many more Super Bowls.
The last one. Eli Manning is the quarterback for the Giants next year. Pass or trash?
Pass.
Pass?
Because whoever they draft they're going to let them learn 1 year behind Eli
before
they give
up. Well,
I
guess part of this, do you think he plays the whole year? Or do you think some shit goes down you have to leave that out?
Okay.
Like Tyrod Taylor this year, or...
Yeah, I think if they take a first round quarterback, which they should, because they got the running back that they wanted this year. If they take the first round quarterback, which I already said last week that I believe that they will, then I wouldn't be surprised if he gets Bledsoe or if he gets Tyrod Taylor, Romo, or all these other guys that lost their jobs in the middle of the year.
Joe Montana, greatest quarterback all time. He got Steve Young.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. So, but I do believe that he goes in being the starter because, really the only teams that start a rookie are teams that don't have a veteran quarterback that's worthy of being a starter. If you have a veteran quarterback worthy of being the starter, usually they start the season off. But if they ain't getting the wins, and they have nothing really to lose, they'll throw the rookie out there, see what they got.
Does he make it 3 more seasons? You passing a...
Oh, I trash that.
You trash that? That would put him at 37 or 38. So that would be his retirement year. I don't think he'll make it that long either.
Me either.
But that's all I got, sir.
All right. Well, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Pass it on to a friend. We need the subscriptions. Subscribe.
See you next week.
All right. See you guys next week.